Alright, hi, I'm here with Garrett O'Brien, a comedian from Brisbane, and Garrett has battled with addiction and depression and things like that, and has attempted suicide.
I certainly have, Shane.
And,
To put it in just
yeah.
worse. Yes, I have.
So that's his resume. So Garrett, tell us about the fun times.
Oh man!
So recently you went on to some like anti-alcohol drugs to try and stop alcoholism.
I didn't go on anti-alcohol drugs. I just took drugs that I couldn't take out. I wasn't supposed to drink on.
So you're on antidepressants that you can drink on.
I was on antidepressants that I couldn't drink on, but then I came off them with
Were you cured?
No, they didn't really do anything to cure me. I just decided to stop taking them after a while because they essentially drained me of my energy. So it's kind of like you can't drink because you just don't have the energy to go out or do anything or want to be around people. It's like, well, I don't know if it feels like I was exchanging one drug problem for another.
Right.
And
there's more people overdose apparently on prescription drugs than illegal drugs.
Oh, of course, man.
Like more people are fucking Heath Ledgering than Jimi Hendrix.
I know, it's kind of very un-rock and roll of people to do that. I mean,
it doesn't have a rock and roll vibe. Like, I died from Valium.
I took some pills. Like, it's fine for Marilyn Monroe because, it's just kind of glamorous. It's a real, not to be sexist, it's kind of a chick way to die. It's just, I took some pills and I drifted off. No. You need the needle in the arm at least. Just a little bit to... I had to forcibly place this inside myself to die. Not a little, it's not going to carry over on a podcast, me doing this dainty, putting pills in my mouth.
Well, so tell us about your journey with alcoholism.
Oh, man.
So when did it kind of get out of control? Has there always been a thing? Or, because remember that time we were out when the gay marriage thing happened, and then because I find this when I drink alcohol, my ability to not drink lessens.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like I drink one and then I feel good. And then with alcohol, I think you kind of you get like a high of like half an hour and then you start going down. I don't know how long it is. And then your drive to drink more. It's like, no, I want to stay up. I want to keep going.
Of course. Like it's like it triggers nostalgia of good times drinking in the first half an hour. And then after an hour, you're like, oh, this isn't fucking fun.
Yeah.
It's just not that fun.
But you keep...
Oh, I'm not going to give up. I'm just going to keep going. It's kind of like, I bought the ticket for this movie. I'm going to fucking...
Sunken cost fallacy.
What?
The sunken cost fallacy.
The sunken cost. I've already paid. I'm already half an hour in. I'm going to watch the rest of...
Because at that night we're out, I remember you said the next day you were fucked up. You didn't drink that much, but you bought... it was funny your rationale because you were like... Oh, the gay marriage thing is happening.
Yeah, exactly.
This totally wasn't your thing.
It's not my thing. I'm like, hey, if everybody else was doing the same thing, I'll join in.
And then it was funny. You had this really kind of
yeah, I bought a Cosmo.
A Cosmo. You know what I mean? And by having a fancier drink, it makes you feel less
absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm sophisticated. I'm having a Cosmo.
And it wasn't an attention grab at all to be a sort of overweight, boganish looking man walking around with a Cosmo.
Little pink Cosmo.
Yeah, exactly. It wasn't a point of humour trying to get attention from people while I walked around with it.
No.
At all, Shane. None at all.
Yeah.
It's purely for love of the drink. Oh, God.
And yeah, so once you tried to do... You sent me this weird message once where it's like, oh, I'm sorry I disappointed you. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, that's called 3 a.m. And that's when you've gotten about 20, 25 drinks in and you're just you either go one or two ways. You're either fuck everyone or oh, I'm sorry for being such a piece of shit to everyone.
You either externally blame everyone or you blame yourself too much.
Yeah, exactly, man.
And didn't you say you tried to kill yourself that night?
Oh... I don't know. Was it that night? See, this is the thing with alcoholism and stuff like that. You don't exactly know. It's hard to tell which nights were which.
Right.
And when you say which that night you tried to kill, it's which one? Because it's not been just one. There's been other times.
Well, can you walk us through the mindset and how that all goes down?
Well, you just reach a point where you get into such a place where oh, okay. Things aren't going to improve and I'm stuck. It's more the feeling of stagnation in one's life. Not so much that things are super, super, super bad. It's just that they're not going anywhere.
So you're like, why would I sit around?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like watching a movie. Well, I guess that's...
It just gets sadder with time, right? And it's the same thing over and over again. Sometimes, some series really do need to wrap it up after a couple of seasons.
So it's like...
just drawn out.
It's like suicide is... Like, why you stop watching The Simpsons? Like, we're up to season 20.
Exactly.
I've exhausted all the things. The characters no longer have any real flavour, and it's time to stop watching.
But the difference is that there isn't a multi-million-dollar contract that keeps me to drinking and ruining my own life with my own stupidity, right? If there was, I'd go all for it. I'd be... Do you feel like
your characters, like, the writers have stopped trying?
Oh man, I think it's just that. I think I'm a plot device for other people. If that makes sense, I'm just this thing. Like I'm like the dragons in Game of Thrones, or like I'm like the White Walkers. Everyone's expecting. I feel like people are expecting me to do something eventually, but we just got to wait because we're slowly walking down from the wall of alcoholism to sobriety, or fucking moving on with a life.
And so, what happens? So okay, you feel like you're stagnating, and that drives you to drink to have a good time, right? Because it's like if you got nothing to look forward to, it's like let's go smash some alcohol.
Well, I think it's always about a sense of control, and I think when I was growing up, I sort of idolized people that were sort of self-destructive.
Right, because you can get really romantic about it.
Well, it is. There's such a romantic image around self-destruction and like, just sort of like...
I'm different, I'm just...
Absolutely. It's never like, none of the cool characters that you hear of. Like, I remember just like looking up to like rock stars and stuff like that, like Jim Morrison in The Doors, and he's just a stumble bum alcoholic.
But one thing that I noticed with like that kind of romanticization, right, is like, creative genius, they always battle with addiction, but then I realized
they usually have some kind of success first.
It's not like the only thing I have in common with Jim Morrison is too much substance abuse. Like, I don't have the talent or the brains or the looks or the whatever.
Absolutely not.
But like, I'll use that one characteristics. Thanks, Garrett, for making sure it's clear that I absolutely have nothing in common with
it. I
don't have to worry about the pressures of success that he has to cope with. You know what I mean? Like, there's no paparazzi, stalking me that I need to, or like, there's no chicks that are banging me just for my money.
Absolutely.
That I need to substance abuse.
You don't have to worry about Yoko Ono's ruining things.
No, I'm ruining it on my own.
Yeah.
But yeah, so walk us through that kind of stuff. Have you ever... Is that one of your little rationales? It's like, no, I'm just more arty and artistic.
I think that was a rationale, and I think that's part of where I feel like I'm growing now. I still drink from time to time, but like I think for a while that was kind of part of a motivation, because it's
kind of like a pity party.
It is exactly a pity party, and you just try to relive things or go through that, or you try to feel like you're having a good time, really, but it just really isn't, but like so
what, how are you going now on the journey of addiction?
I to use a cliche, one day at a time, Shane, one day at a time. It's just, I just try to like space it out if I'm going to do things like that. I just realized now it's just not worth it. I don't know. It's like some lessons take a long time to just finally click in your head. Right. And it's just, and maybe it's just age. Like, I'm not super old. I just turned 29. But you kind of realize it just isn't worth it. Like, last time I drank this week, I was actually down in Newcastle with V8 Supercars. Because my dad decided to go there, and he told me to tag along, which was nice.
One of those classic getting a present that I want for other people.
Yeah. It was kind of that situation, and I was just walking around.
And do you think that's part of the romanticization about the artistic person who self-destructs? Like, if you take that narrative, you go, well, actually, I'm drinking for other people to have the art that I'm producing.
Of course, man.
You know what I mean? It's like a birthday present.
In that, I was taking part in ritual. right?
Right.
Ritualistic alcoholism, which is where you go and you
gather
with
Muslims?
others.
Is it like Muslims where
Yes,
you pray
it's
3
exactly.
times a day? You drink
It's
3 times
exactly right. Yeah, well, it's basically the Bogan equivalent of the Hajj, where they go and they walk around the rock.
Right, it's the
Right.
Bogan Mecca.
Exactly.
It's the V8 supercar.
We all walk around a track while we watch Jamie Whincup friggin' drive around, and we all just sit in the sun for 8 hours drinking. And I figured out within an hour that I didn't like this. I didn't enjoy this at all.
Yeah.
I'm drinking mid-strength. You're literally losing the alcohol as you're drinking it because you're just so dehydrated and just getting sunburnt. And it really was like a Bogan Mecca, like a spiritual experience, because like at the end of the evening, after the cars had finished, it was like load up to go to some concert in the middle of the venue, which was like Spider Bait and Cold Chisel, which is like, Cold Chisel is the Bogan Quran. It's just like, if you
like Bogan children have to memorize the lyrics.
Absolutely, man. It's like Kaysan's like the Lord's Prayer of Bogan. Boganism. Yes.
So the spiritual void
Boganslam
replaced with alcoholism and V8 supercars.
Yeah, pretty much, man.
And what were the other people like there? I mean...
Oh, look, it was like 50-50. There's a lot of Bogans, obviously. It is V8 supercars, let's be honest.
So what's the correlation, and what do we mean when we're saying Bogan?
Oh, Bogan, like what? Working class Australians down the bottom, working class or lower?
Yeah,
would be the thing. I don't know, like
because there's a interesting relationship with alcohol in this country. I mean, we call alcoholics, like other countries, they're like, this person's an alcoholic, they have some serious problems, but we call them a larrikin.
Oh yeah,
do you know what I mean? It's like, it's not.
We're very positive people.
Oh, you know what he did, mate? He had kids with 3 different women and gets drunk all the time. What a larrikin!
When somebody steps out of line here and we sort of cut them down for being a prick, we don't call it fucking dickhead syndrome. We call it tall poppy syndrome. Like, you're still a nice flower even if you're a cunt. You know what I mean?
Right.
Trying.
Tall poppy syndrome. What if they're actually a heroin addict?
Yeah.
And they're just,
cuts a little close.
But they're the most functional heroin addict and the other people are jealous?
Yeah. You think, why isn't that an analogy or a metaphor for an addiction? Oh, I've got tall poppy syndrome. I'm on the poppies again.
I don't know.
I'm on the opium poppies.
So
I get very triggered by Remembrance Day.
So what with the alcoholism and stuff, when you had these suicide attempts, were you actually depressed from alcoholism, or like, or was that?
I think it just brings out the emotion. Plus, when you're drinking, you do other stupid things. I mean, the last time I tried,
so you know how people get drunk and they like one-hit punch people, like strangers in the street. Were you basically doing the one-hit punch for yourself in your suicide attempt?
I think that's what it is. I think some people externalize on others with their behavior, and some people internalize. And I think for the most part that I internalize. If I get to the point where if I was suicidal or something like that, it's all internalized. I mean, last time I tried to do that, I ended up... There was other stuff involved. I was on Valium as well, which is like... If you don't know what like taking Valium is like on alcohol, like if you take one and you start drinking, you feel like Matthew McConaughey for like the first 3 hours. You're just smooth, man. Smooth.
Yeah, you're just sailing in La La Land. You feel no pain.
You're like, you walk up to the bar, it's like, all right. I'm here to party.
Really? So you feel like you're this...
You feel smooth as shit, but then you've just taken fucking Valium with alcohol, so by the end of the evening, you're just completely drained emotionally and physically.
Right.
Just drained, and then you just feel like absolute garbage.
The next day?
Well, not the next day. Just by the end of the evening, you start feeling like shit.
You have the come down once the alcohol starts coming out. And is that in that point where you're coming down, you feel the most suicidal?
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
Because you went from Matthew McConaughey to being a drunken piece of shit at the end of the evening by yourself. So, you end up in that situation. And, I went to go... I think last time... I did that was the end of last year. I tried to hang myself in a park.
How'd you do that?
Well, I took some rope from my house, which it just sounds really messed up. I actually kept a roll of rope just in case.
Just in case you wanted to kill yourself?
Yeah, man. I still have it. It's still...
Oh,
it's still around. It's not that I'm going to.
This will be awkward.
Nice.
This will be awkward footage.
This will be fantastic.
When your family members are Googling your name after
I know. Like, that's what that's for.
Oh, Garrett hasn't posted on Facebook for a while.
It's either that or it'll be, it'll be hanging myself in a park or hanging myself in a closet with the pants down, cranking it, which... Have
you done the autoerotic asphyxiation?
No. But I discussed with a mate of mine about that once after David Carradine died. That I said to him, look, I can say with certainty that I can't tell you that I won't die like that.
You give it a try.
Yeah, exactly.
Because if you're going to kill yourself, you may as well...
It's a possibility.
Do you think that some of those autoerotic asphyxiations are a way of, a combination of factors? One, they don't want their loved ones to think they killed themselves.
Oh, look.
Secondly, they want to make the suicide as pleasurable as possible.
Yeah. Well, you're trying to come before you die.
You know what I mean? You're trying to sink it all up.
Yeah, you're trying to just get that round out of the chamber between that. I've done a low-level version of that. It wasn't choking. What it was is you're in the shower and you put toothpaste on the end of your dick. And then you just try to come before you burn your dick. Now, it's a very low-level version of that.
Yeah. I've never heard of this before. Was this a Garrett original?
Oh, I thought it was an original until I told that story to somebody. And then they said that, I tried that once too. Because apparently it's just a thing, because it sensitizes the area, so it becomes super sensitive. It feels really good, but it burns at the same time.
Right.
But you just need to get it out of there, because eventually you will get
careful with the table.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's really interesting. You were telling me about how when you kind of have a party last night, right?
Mm.
The next day your dopamine levels, your brain produces less, so you're in the post hangover the day after, you're more likely to engage in high pleasurable activities to try and equal out the
of course.
hangover.
Well, that's the thing. Okay, so for one particular example, I took ecstasy. The first time I ever took ecstasy, I ended up in that. So it burns out your serotonin. So the next day, you just feel like crap, and you want to lift yourself out of the hole.
What did you do the first time you took ecstasy?
Oh, well, first time I took ecstasy, I bought some at a club, and I took it. But then I decided to walk out of the club, and this was after lockout.
Right.
Like an idiot. So I just left the club and I can't go anywhere. I've just taken ecstasy. So I just decided...
For the first time.
First time.
So you fucked it.
Yeah, I fucked it. I ruined that experience immediately. So I went home and it started kicking in while I was in the car and started yelling at the driver going, yeah, man, this is... I get home and I'm living with my grandmother, right? And it's about 4 a.m. So she's awake. Because that's what old people are like. They wake up that early. And I'm thinking, all right, this is like any other time I'm drunk or on drugs. I can just walk past her. Mm. But this is something, drug that I've ever experienced before. So I don't know how to control it yet.
Right.
So as I'm walking in,
she's in control.
Absolutely. And she's like, oh, how high are you? And I just confess immediately that I'm on ecstasy and all this stuff. So I spent 5 hours talking to my grandmother while I was high on ecstasy.
What was that like?
That was pretty crazy. That was pretty crazy. I don't even remember what I discussed. I just remember not being able to shut the fuck up. That's pretty much...
Were you really, did you feel really connected to your grandma?
And I'm going to stop you there so I can restart this.
Yep.
Alright. Bam! Are you really connected to your grandmother?
Yeah, I mean, look, it becomes this very long, deep and meaningful conversation. And I was by the end of it, I'm like, oh man, I feel like this is wearing off. So that's when I decided to try and go to bed. And by go to bed, I meant I took the other pill that I had. And you just try to keep going. And
because when you start the pleasurable thing, you never want to come down.
No.
That's why I find it hard once you start.
Because I'm like, this is awesome talking to my grandmother on ecstasy. I got to go in my bedroom and do other things to myself.
Yeah.
Whilst on this, because I got to find some
jacket.
But that's the thing with me is like I have to get the most out of everything I do.
Right.
It's just not enough.
Yeah.
I've got to like.
Because the thing is, it's like when you take drugs, it's kind of like you're cheating reality, right?
Of course.
So you have this pleasurable experience. It's like a lie that you keep going, or like an economy that they're trying to prop up.
Absolutely,
through
man.
borrowing money or whatever.
It's all stimulus, and it comes back to you in the end. It bites you in the ass with like physical and emotional debt.
Yeah. Fuck. And and so how'd the story end?
Oh, the story didn't end. What ended up happening was...
So the next day you're fucked.
Next day I'm fucked. I'm just feeling like shit, like physically and otherwise. And you just feel like there's this whole...
Careful with the table, man. You sound...
I need to, I need to stop touching tables. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I hurt your ears, listeners.
You're gonna go into a shame spiral and start drinking after this. I touched the
triggered.
table. I'm sorry. I'm
I've
about
ruined
to
these people's lives. I've ruined their hearing. I've hurt them so badly. I'm gonna drink and I'm just gonna
feel sorry for yourself. Have a pity party.
And now I'm gonna hang myself, and it's just gonna be all
on these listeners. They're responsible. So the next day you did the ecstasy.
Yeah, and serotonin's all burnt out, and it's like I wanted another experience to try and pull myself out of the hole.
So you're chasing the dragon. You're trying to get that high again.
So like I'm sitting there, and I had plenty of money at the time, and just I remember like, all right, okay, I'm not going to do drugs tonight, or I'm not going to drink. But I'm going to have some other experience. So I decided to call up prostitutes, and like I was looking around for something crazy. It wasn't going to be normal shit either. Like, you got to like, I had like, one thing on one thing, like a dominatrix on other, some other thing on another thing, and just waiting for a response, and whomever got in there first, like ringing 2 cab companies at once. So you can just be like, all right, whoever gets here first, that's what I'm going with. So I did that. That wasn't enough, even though it was some crazy experience.
What was it? What happened? Do you want to tell us?
I think I'll save that for when you want to talk about sex on another. When I'm more comfortable, I will talk
okay,
about
all right.
that one.
Let's give him a head then.
But right after that wasn't enough, right? So I ended up going to casino and like gambling, probably $500 on blackjack and stuff like that. But I went to
did that help with the high? Was that the parachute for the come down? Like, did that?
Well, yeah, because you're trying to up your. I didn't understand what an ecstasy come down was. Right. I knew that people said it was bad. I thought it meant like having a hangover. I didn't realize what it actually did is for like multiple days afterwards, you're just depressed because you fucked over the chemicals in your brain.
Yeah.
And I was trying to lift myself out of that shit mood by engaging in risky behavior.
Yeah.
And and you do that, and you get that high, obviously, dopamine hit from sex and or like gambling as well. And but the thing that pissed me off the most is I went to Pancake Manor and it wasn't good for once.
Oh, really?
And that was really depressing. But that could have had something to do with the sexual activity I engaged in beforehand. Kind of upset my stomach. But
okay, yeah.
But
we'll leave that to people's imagination. What
absolutely.
that was.
That was fun though.
You got like a colostomy hole, and you let people like fist your colostomy hole. Oh, it upsets my stomach.
Jesus, ew. God, it wasn't that bad. Good God, man.
It's alright.
Good God.
Anyway, so tell us. So you tried to kill yourself in a park once. Tell us that story.
Yeah, I went to go hang myself, and I went to go. You know what? One time I went to go hang myself. I went into this park and I'd throw up the rope, and I'm trying to like set it all up because you're trying to rig that up. That's a little bit difficult. One
of the things I heard is in rural populations they're more likely to follow through with suicide because they've got guns for like hunting and shit. True. And so with ropes, like you got to tie the knot, and by that time you kind of get too lazy and you give up.
It just makes me slightly pro-gun right there.
Yeah, I believe in the Second Amendment.
It's just
imagine if in the second, because the reason for the Second Amendment is to protect people from enemies, domestic and foreign. Imagine if they had it also for an easy way out.
I just want to say, mate, if you have the right to prevent life from coming into this world, you should be able to take your own life out of it.
That's it. I'm pro-choice.
I'm pro-choice, mate.
So anyway, so what happened? So you're in there, you're trying to rig it up.
Oh, I'm trying to rig it up, and I realized what I was doing at the time. I'm like, somebody is actually going to find me. And it's not going to be some family member or something. It's going to be some random person that's going to find a dead body in a park. And it's like, this is a park where there could be kids and other stuff like that. And I realized you sort of snap into it. And plus, I'd already had this sort of mental block about suicide that I developed after the first time I ever tried to commit suicide.
What was the first time?
It's not that interesting of a story. I tried to take some pills and shit. I went out in the dainty...
Marilyn Monroe.
Oh, yes. Oh, I'm sad. I take some pills and go night-night.
Oh, Jesus
right? But,
Christ.
that was...
So people who aren't comedians won't realise, like, they'll be like, these people are fucking fucked in their head. And they're just talking about this shit so cavalierly.
Exactly.
But,
that's what you do.
it's better out than in, right?
Yeah, but the thing I realised is that you can have a very hard life and things can be very difficult for you.
Yep.
But ultimately, everything you've gone through becomes worth nothing if you commit suicide.
Right.
You've essentially... This is actually what I said to a girl that was telling me that she was going to kill herself. And I said to her, I said, look, all of your friends and your family, they're going to be very sad for a while. And that's the key thing. You're going to be gone, and they're going to move on with their lives, and they're going to forget you. And this is, I was trying to appeal to some degree her own narcissism when I did this. And it was like, look, everything that you've been through, everything that you suffered through to get to this point is all worth nothing. You're throwing away all the effort, everything that you've gone through to do this. And people aren't going to remember you after you commit suicide. They're going to be sad for a little bit, but they're going to move on with their lives, and you're just going to be that girl who killed herself at some point. And she was like, fuck you, all this type of stuff. But then she didn't commit suicide. But that's the thing. You realize that it really isn't worth it. It really isn't worth it. But then again, it could be the gambler in me that's going, I want to see what comes up in the next hand.
Like, keep dealing.
Yeah, maybe there is something, you know.
It can turn
I can lose more. I can lose more.
I've got more to
life.
lose before I'm ready to tap
Yeah, I'm
out.
not going all in on a losing hand. Because that's what it is. It's like, all right.
It's going all in on a losing
I'm officially going all in on a losing hand. And, nobody ever got, you don't win the lotto. You don't try to hang yourself and the rope breaks and you find yourself next to a lotto ticket or something. Oh, wow. Life has changed forever. I've won.
Yeah.
It doesn't work like that, man.
But I guess it's people who kill themselves or try that. It's like at that moment, you can't foresee it getting better, right? That's part of the mindset, right?
You feel like you're stuck, and that's the biggest thing. It's not just that you're sad. You're just stuck.
You can't see a way out.
You can't see a way of changing the situation. You feel guilty. Sometimes I think the biggest thing is feeling guilty about your impact on others.
Yeah,
around you, like your problems are affecting other people. And
you feel like you're dragging others down.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
it's better off if you just fuck off.
Yeah. But then, you realize that you can very much hurt people like that. And also, as I said before, it's like you've put in a lot of effort in your life, to try and get through the bad things you may have gone through. But your family, they've put in a lot of effort to try and help you here and there. Sometimes people don't have that situation. For me, I was lucky. I have had
people
family and friends that put in effort to help. And you realize that you're basically making their efforts for naught as well. And it's just... And it's the same, guilt that could drive you towards suicide. It's the same guilt that can actually pull you away from that stuff too. Because you realize, look, you're just going to add on top of it. Like, what are you leaving behind once you go,
Just a fat dude hanging off a tree?
Absolutely. Plumpy depression fruit.
Oh, God. Interesting. So you were once telling me about, alcoholism's done a lot to maybe make you get close to suicide and stagnate in your life and stuff. But there's one time alcohol saved your life.
Yes, there was.
Started again from now. So the alcohol saving life.
Yeah, there was one time that our alcohol.
I call it my alcohol. Anyway, go on. So
my drink, yeah.
My fucking...
That was my drink. Yeah. No, alcohol saved my life. That's it. That's the whole story. Alcohol saved my life. No, what happened was I was drinking on the New Year's Eve, and I was down in northern New South Wales at some beach with my family, and I went out there, I started drinking on the beach, just straight vodka, because why mix it with anything? I mean, it's just, why would you?
Yeah,
why would you,
why
mate?
would you?
Why would you slow down the process? I mean, like, yeah. So I'm drinking up there, I fall asleep in the sand dunes, and next morning I walk back to hang with my family and do breakfast. And I feel a lump on the back of my head, and I get my cousin to take a look at it. And he found it's a tick that was stuck in my head, right? Which is pretty damn serious. Like,
because they can paralyze you.
Yeah,
they
can paralyze you, especially when they're in your head like that. They literally, you can die.
Shit, right?
Yeah, because I remember being in security, and I worked a job site out in a sort of not rural area, but out in sort of some woods, wildlife sort of area, and there was a guy that I was replacing who was literally in the hospital. In a coma.
Oh, really? Fuck.
So, like, it kind of resonated.
And they've got all that fucking bacteria in it, too.
Absolutely. So, they can you can get infections from it and everything. But anyway,
it can fuck you up for years.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, this tick, I was alarmed at first. My cousin informed me that it was dead. And not that he had killed it, that it had died from literally drinking my blood. And I had so much alcohol in my system that it killed the tick.
Wow.
I was literally such a toxic human being that I killed a toxic parasite.
Wow. So here's from the tick's point of view, it's like, yeah, we're going to get some yummy blood. Oh,
yeah.
Yum. It's like going to a glory hole and then you're like, yes, come on my face, and it's acid. You know?
Exactly. Or it's like putting your dick through it and it gets cut off.
Yeah. That's the tick put its dick in the glory hole and
got really messed up, man.
Wow. So alcohol saved your life?
It did. It saved my life.
Man. So what? It just like shriveled up and died. Like
it was just dead.
It couldn't handle the alcohol.
No, it killed it.
Wow.
It's fantastic. Really is. But it's very hard to like turn away from it because it's like, that feeling of indebtedness towards somebody
alcohol.
Or something. It saved my life. Like, well, I have to drink.
Yeah.
You're my old friend.
Yeah. Cheers, alcohol.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess that's in the rationale pile for like why you're
that's
drinking.
What movies
it's like, hey, a vampire could attack me on the way home. If I don't get fucking wasted, I could become a vampire.
Exactly. Good God, I don't even know if vampires are affected by alcohol. Maybe I should just eat a lot of garlic. Lots of garlic essence or something.
Garlic alcohol, fermented garlic drink.
That sounds fucking horrendous.
Well, imagine that fucking morning after shit.
Oh, mate.
And so how does alcohol affect your body? Is that your main drug of choice, alcohol?
I think so. Alcohol is the main drug of choice, yeah.
Yeah.
But,
does your family have a culture of alcoholism? Like, how did you first get it? Yeah?
Yeah, dude. They're all work. Well, one side of my family are sort of working class people, like, I don't know, lower working class people, if you want to say that. And they all drink a lot. They're all functional alcoholics and stuff like that. And, like, pretty mad. But the other side of my family, they're all very sort of successful working professionals, and they drink, like, every day.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
Like, that's like the typical thing for them is, like,
So it's in your genes on both sides. You're a purebred alcoholic.
Oh, I am. That's it. Irish and Scottish on both sides.
Jesus.
Alcoholics do it a lot. But, yeah, no, it's all good. They manage to function. But some of us don't function so well. But
no. And so what is the upswing of it been? Like, are things getting better? You feeling less depressed and suicidal? Or?
As I said before, to quote that, long drawn out cliche, I take it one day at a time. But, generally things lately have been a lot better, yeah. Just cutting back and just putting stuff in perspective. And I just think, like, I'm a lot more conscious of my money these days, because at the moment I'm not working. When I was working, it's like, whatever.
Right.
You get drunk whenever. But, you realize the fact that you're actually depriving yourself of things when you can't go to the shops.
Yeah.
You've got to scrounge together change for bread and stuff like that. And you go, And that was the thing, is that's where I kind of started from when I was drinking. Like, I live with my mother and when I was a kid, and it was really up until probably, I don't know, like 19, 20, I was living with her, and it was just, we're always poor.
Was she a bit of a drinker?
No, but she was on pain meds.
Right.
And I didn't really understand that type of thing.
Right.
Like, I just thought, oh, she's got bad knees, so
right.
she takes
but she was
these
addicted.
pills. Yeah, well, that's all she ever did was take pills, lay down, watch television, and drink coffee. Out. Yeah, exactly. And I remember taking her medication once because I had a headache and we had no Panadol. And I had to take some videos back to a video store. And I was messed up. Like I was stoned.
Wrecked,
and I realized, oh, wow, that's what she's doing all day.
Wow, that would have been interesting.
And I was twice her size and I was messed up off that. So I can't imagine where she was. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Do you have any advice for people who might be struggling with this shit?
Well, I mean, what do you say with that? Like, you got to sort of look at what you want in life and what makes you happy and what makes you sad. So, there's some vague advice. Look,
we're like the shittest Dr. Phil episode.
I know, it's like, exactly it. It's horrible.
You just come out at the end of the thing.
Look, you just got to look at your where you are and say, do I want to keep staying in this place? Right? And why am I still here? Do I change things or do I want to keep staying here? And like, the sad thing is, look, ultimately it's that rock bottom thing that you're not going to truly understand until you've really hit the bricks. You're never going to really, you got to learn the lesson on your own. But I think the main thing you can start with doing is to at least try to get it in control. And by control, it doesn't necessarily mean stop, but like at least, put yourself on a schedule.
Yeah.
At the very, try to make it more a clockwork addiction at first, and then try to work from there, I guess.
Cool. Thanks for coming on the thing.
No worries. Hopefully that didn't depress the shit out of everybody.
Who cares?
Who cares? Like, oh, fuck
the depression is something they have to learn how to cope with.
What most people don't know is that this podcast is actually funded by Carlton United Breweries, and the idea is to depress you so you go out and drink.
Right. Yeah.
That's right.
Don't sue us. They won't.
Please don't.
They won't see this.
Please don't.
I'm too insignificant. Cool. All right. Rock and roll.
No worries. Glad to be here, man.